Another beautiful day in rural Montana. And no, we didn't get a new Model 3. It's not really new anyway. It is a 2020 Model 3, very similar to our 2018. This is not a long range, this is a standard range plus, and I get the opportunity to drive this. And I didn't even know when I started driving it, when I got it, it is actually a loaner car from Tesla. I didn't know it was a standard range plus. I just noticed that the percentages dropped off really quick as we were driving. I'm like, whoa, this is odd. Is there something wrong? And then I finally realized it's a standard range plus. And it shows about 220 miles at full, well, compared to 310 miles of the long range. So quite a difference, almost, well, 90-mile difference, basically. So now I'm wondering, does a standard range plus is basically some interior stuff that it has. So inside it looks basically the same, but I guess its standard range is 220 miles or something, or 225. But I'm wondering, can we make a trip from here going east to Butte? Because between here, or actually between Missoula, so about 30 miles from here, to Butte, there are no superchargers. There is no option to charge. There's also currently no CCS there anywhere. There should be one coming up in Deer Lodge at some point, but in any event, this does not CCS charge either. Even if you have the adapter, it's not enabled in this car. I looked. So we got to make it from Missoula to Butte for sure. And according to the navigation, it can do that. But that's kind of dumb. I would like to make it from here to Butte with this without having to stop in Missoula. And I charged it to full this morning. I have the preheat going here, so it's nice and warm. We were at the freezing point this morning. Now that the sun is out, it starts warming up. I think we're a few degrees above freezing now. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet if I should try to make it to Butte from here. I mean, our Model S is rated at 260 miles. The Chevy Bolt was rated at 259, and they both can make it, right? Well, I'm not sure what the actual EPA rating is on the standard range here, but since the fuel gauge, when it shows miles, is based on the EPA rating, so the about 220 whatever there is probably close to EPA range. Maybe it's 230, which is 30 miles less than the Bolt or the Model S. And we barely make it with the Model S and the Bolt. We actually have to go a little bit slower speeds to make it. So, well, let's get in the car and look at the stats, and then let's go. All right, it shows charging complete here. We're still plugged in. That's why it shows 2 out of 32 amps currently, but we are at 98%, and this fuel gauge says that's 220 miles. So let's do this one here, and trips. All right, so obviously since last charge we have 0, current drive we have 0. Trip A, this is coming back from Tesla to here, and then trip B I have reset. So we can use trip B for today, and the odometer currently on this vehicle is 42,259 miles. Here we show it is 41 degrees right now at 8:40 in the morning. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna drive to or towards Missoula, and depending on how quickly these percents drop off, I will have to make my decision about charging there. If we look here, Missoula, it says we get there with 87%. We would have to charge for 30 minutes. Woohoo! What a loss. That's just a waste of time, basically. But we at 87%, it wants to bring us up to 100, I'm sure, so that we can then drive to Butte. And at Butte, we would arrive with 18. Okay. Now, usually going to Butte, because it's an elevation gain, if you've been following the channel, you know it's an uphill battle to Butte, and we always use quite a bit. So this could be a little bit wrong. I don't think, yeah, if we fill up in Missoula to 100%, we may get there with 18%. So if we drive our Model 3 long range, we get there from here with about 80%. That's about an additional 30 miles or so. So I'll see how quickly that drops off. I obviously don't want to get stranded with this thing. I put our mobile connector in the in the front there, so we have that with us. I also took the extension cord for the J1772 that we have from EV Dance, and there's a video you should go watch about that. It's a really cool extension cord. You can well, be a ways from a charger when a charger is iced or blocked, whatever. You can, depending on the length of your extension cord, you can be 20-30 feet away and still charge. So I brought that just in case, because I know there's a couple level 2 chargers just in case. So I threw it in there because I have no clue how this vehicle is going to behave at all. So brought that with us. But yeah, go check out EV Dance. I got a link down below in the description anyway. So, well, now I gotta unplug and off we go. I'm on the way. I'm gonna give you a little bit more information to put this trip into the real context with the other trips. So this trip we done a million times, many times. If you want to go see these other videos, they're videos like going to the Cozy Cabin, going to Island Park, going to West Yellowstone. We done this trip with the Model S, the 2013 Model S85 that has 200,000, way above 200,000 miles now. We have done it with our 2018 Model 3 long range dual motor many times. We have done it with the 2020 Chevy Bolt several times too. So you can go see how all those perform. And we also have done this trip with the Cybertruck at this point, but only with the trailer behind it. So that is a little different. The towing is a little bit out of context, so it's not really a comparison there with the Cybertruck at this point. But we'll have more videos coming where we will drive the Cybertruck from here to Butte. Butte is 2,000 feet higher in elevation than where we start. As you're driving to Butte, you don't really notice that there's no pass or anything really in between where you notice the elevation gain. It's a constant uphill battle, and usually efficiency is relatively bad going towards Butte. But then coming back, efficiency is usually way better. Under all conditions, we always, with every electric car we have found, coming back from Butte is relatively easy. But yes, we do have less range on this than any other that we ever drove. So that will make a difference. Now this is a loaner car from Tesla. And so it's got a few quirks, like there is a speed limit of 85 miles per hour, and well, the speed limit in Montana is 80, so it doesn't really bother us. Usually we go 2 miles above the speed limit according to the speedometer of the car. So we can easily do that. But this car now has the latest and greatest full self-driving on it, and I guess because the speed is limited to 85, the FSD only goes to 79 miles an hour max. So I can't do the 82, I guess I could disable FSD, and probably, I don't know if it on regular autopilot it would go to 82, or if I would have to completely disable it and, well, basically just keep my foot on the accelerator pedal to make the 82. So I don't know, I don't really want to do that. It is a well, decent long drive. It's about 150 miles from here, so I don't necessarily plan on actually driving, just supervising. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Preconditioning battery for fast charging came on right away as I started driving. I did see on the screen the regeneration is limited to about 50% at this point. That means the battery pack is pretty cold. This car wasn't driven at all yesterday. We came home Monday night, and yesterday was Tuesday. It was sitting, now it's Wednesday, and now we're driving. Temperatures overnight dropped down to just about freezing, so the battery pack is pretty cold. We did charge, it was about 57% last night, and so it was charging for about 4 hours throughout the night, but obviously that is not very much charging to warm the battery up or anything. So it is preconditioning the battery right now, so warming it up. That will use a little bit of extra power. What it does, it runs the motor. I was gonna say the motors, but this is only a rear-wheel drive. So that said, anyway, because it's only a rear-wheel drive, it doesn't have front motor. It's a little bit lighter than the long range, and because of this, it should get a little better efficiency. But anyway, so it runs the motors. Basically inefficient. You usually hear a little bit of a whining coming from the motor because it's running, I guess, a little bit out of phase or something, just to waste energy. That can help preconditioning the battery, get some extra heat in there. So, well, we'll see. Right now it shows 80% in Missoula. That already dropped. Butte on the navigation here stays the same because it assumes we're going to Missoula and just fill up, and then so it still, yeah, assumes 18% for Butte. We'll see. I got a feeling because of the low range, lower than the Model S and the Model, or the Chevy Bolt and the Model 3 anyway. The Model 3 has 310, but with about 260 for the Bolt and 260 for the Model S, and this only about 220, maybe 230. I think I should charge in Missoula. We probably could make it to Butte regardless, but I would suspect I would have to go slower, like 55 probably, to make it to Butte. And 55 is quite a bit lower than well, 80. We're almost a hazard on the road at that point, going 55. So yeah, and only having 80% in Missoula, basically starting with 100%, that is like wasting 20% on 30 miles. So yeah, it would almost get us there. I mean, with 80% we should still be able to get about 120 miles out of it. But right now we're going really slow too until we hit the interstate, then it may drop even more. So it's a little tricky. We'll see. At least it's a beautiful day for a road trip, and yeah, it's questionable at this point. And because I'm not familiar with this vehicle at all, I don't necessarily want to take a risk. I don't want to get stranded with the loaner car. even though I don't mind pulling in at 0% at a charger. That is fine with me. Single digits are great for faster charging, but not being familiar with this car, how it was treated, yeah, I might not take the chances today. And here I am already cheating. So it wanted me to go to the supercharger in Missoula, and I'm pulling in here at the Y at the truck stops. So we're about 7 miles to the other supercharger. So I wanted to go here because, as you can see, the windshield is pretty dirty, and here they provide windshield wash equipment so I can clean the windshield real quick while charging. And I'm pulling in here at 83%, so if I would have driven the other 7 miles, we probably would have gotten there just with what was about to be expected at 80%. So, well, this is a version 3, but there is no reason that I needed to go to a version 3. The version 2 that they wanted me to go to is plenty fine, because at 83% we're not coming anywhere near 150, so we certainly don't need a 250. So, all right, got here with 83%. It's 9:13. It's now 54 degrees. Here it's still preconditioning. It thinks we are going to the supercharger in Missoula, but we are out here at the Y, and we'll use this one instead. So here it says 30 minutes remaining. It doesn't mention the trip at all, because I guess I'm not at the right supercharger. So 30 minutes is to 100%. We are at 83, so that would make it 9:45. I'm probably not going that long. I'm not sure here. Let's end trip, and actually let's do this. Let's find supercharger Butte. There we go. So here now it shows 25 minutes, not much not much difference. And then it lists the supercharger Butte at 4% right now. Wow, that's well, doesn't let me slide down and open it up right now, but yeah, so we'll give it a few minutes anyway. It's interesting that it dropped down to 4%. It's now 129 miles from here. It would only be about 120, 122 from the other charger. So, well, we'll see. But the main reason I came to this one instead of the other one is this right here. A bucket with windshield washer fluid and a couple sticks so I can scrape all those bugs off. We're now only going at 20 kilowatts here. It's a 6 minutes remaining. We're at 95%, and now it's to continue the trip since I put the Butte supercharger in. But currently it already shows that we arrive with 15%, so that is plenty. 15%, holy moly. And we could stop at Rocker, which is a few miles before Butte, so we got a ton of charge already. And if this is correct here, the estimation, then heck, we better get going right now rather than sitting here. But I just got back. I mean, I cleaned the windshield, I went to the bathroom, came back, and here we are. It is 9:30, so it's only been what, it's been 15 minutes, so 15 minutes go by real easy. Well, let's unplug and get going. We ended up with 95%. It estimates 16 arrival in Butte. It is 9:30, 54 degrees out now. And I assume as we're going, temperature will increase, so that will be better for range anyway. Yeah, we should be able to make it real easy now to Butte. the heck happened? Old Glory isn't up there. Ha! Weird. Maybe the winds were too hard around here. It's pretty windy usually. Well, anyway, we made it to Butte and we got here with 14%. So we did pretty darn good. So it was what, 15, 16% right at the beginning. Now we're at 14%, so we're pretty good. It is 61 degrees here, 11:30 a.m. So we did pretty darn good. Now with 14%, we added 12% in Missoula. That means basically we could have made it here with 2%, starting at the what way 99 or so percent, whatever, 100% we were, almost 100%. It was like 99, 98, but we charged 12%. We have 14 left, so we could have made it with somewhere 0, 1 or 2% here. I was going 79 miles an hour according to the speedometer, because that's the max it does. I think that has to do with the speed limitation of 85 that they have on these loaner cars. And so it must have lowered the max speed for FSD as well. That said, when it shows 79, the GPS actually on the phone shows 78. So when we go 82 with the other cars, most of the other cars are right on, and according to the GPS it is 82, so 81, 82. So we've been going a couple miles slower, so we saved a little tiny bit, really not much, but yeah, overall we could have made it. So now let's look at this. Since last charge it was 129 miles. That was in Missoula, or actually at the Y, not at the Missoula charger. We used 36 kilowatt hours and we averaged 278 watt hours per mile. Then here the current drive, I pulled out in Deer Lodge, had to go to the bathroom. You know, the car always goes further than the man. So that was 38 minutes ago, and since we used 290, so we were up a little bit. That may have to do with the wind here that picked up. Now the total distance from home was 151 miles. We used 43 kilowatt hours at 283 watt hours per mile. That is not too bad. So now looking at 43 kilowatt hours, that is a little odd. I think this is a 60 kilowatt hour battery. So we only used 43, so we should have like 25% left or something. Interesting. I thought this is a 60 kilowatt hour. Maybe I'm wrong. I was also wrong about the EPA rating on it. The EPA rating on this is actually 250 miles. The car only shows 220-ish, and that may have to do with the way it was driven and charged and so on and so forth. That's why you don't look at the miles on there, because it's really ridiculous. If you want to know if you can make a destination or not, use the navigation. That gives you a really good idea. As you've seen today, we were pretty much right on, within a couple percent, so not bad at all. So I always have mine switched to percent when people tell me it charges at so many miles, or my state of charge is so many miles. Whoa, look at this. Whoa, there he goes. Woohoo, that was a big one, and he was pretty low. I don't know, interesting. Not sure that there's an Air Force base around here. Don't know, whatever. Well, anyway, so yeah, miles are just really this here, this number, this 13, that's your fuel gauge. And if you switch it to miles, now it shows 30 miles. That is just a fuel gauge. That is not exactly, or that is not how far you can go, period. It has nothing to do with exactly. It's not, it's plain old just a fuel gauge. And we're at 13%. How far we could go with this totally depends on, well, how fast we go and the road conditions and so on and so forth. But so yeah, we made it here. Now we gotta fill up, and on the way back I'm usually more efficient with every electric car, so I'm planning on basically charging to 100% again, and then I want to make it back home all the way with this thing without charging at all. So it seems like this should be possible on the way here, so it should definitely be possible on the way back. So well, let's get it plugged in. This here is the 150 kilowatt charger. The 250 kilowatt charger is out in Rocker. We passed that. It's a few miles from here. And oh look, watch while you wait. I guess I got plenty of time. I could watch something, or I'd rather go for a walk actually. Let's see here, what are we getting? We should basically be able to max this charger out at 14%. The battery is definitely warm. 145, okay, we're pretty much maxing it out, I guess, huh? 150, 145. All right, yep, so that's good. It's not bad. We're all by ourselves here, so the charging shouldn't be a problem. Well, it says 50 minutes remaining. That's to 100%. It is 11:36 now, so we're looking at about 12:26, I guess. So somewhere around there. We'll see. Let's see if we switch navigation. And so estimated charge time, oh, it had 40 first, then it went to 50. All right, but it doesn't show any other charger. Let's see if we can swipe this down. No. Swipe this up. No. No, it basically pretty much says 149 miles to get home, even though we drove 151. That maybe was the restroom stop. 3 hours and 2 minutes, so about 3 hours to get back home. 150 miles. It says we can do it in one shot. We're going to try. We got enough to continue. Oh, well, yeah, we can't put any more in. We are at 100%, and this time it came up to 100%, unlike this morning. Let's switch this real quick. And it shows 224 miles. I think it showed, what, 220 or 222 this morning, so it shows a few more miles. It's kind of interesting. Also here it says charging complete, but we are still using 7 kilowatts. That seems quite a bit. Not sure what's going on there. Obviously got the air conditioning going, but that's usually just like 1, maybe 2 kilowatts max. It's still doing 7 kilowatts. That is interesting. Well, anyway, let's do this here. Take this down, and so it says home 18%. Okay, and that would be, it says 2 hours 13 minutes, 149 miles to get there. So I think we certainly attempt to make it home, as I could have made it here. Well, we had 14% arrival. We charged 12 in Missoula, so we could have gotten here with 2. Going back should be actually better. Let's look at the trips here one more time. So we used 200, or the average was 283 watt hours per mile coming here. And I thought this is a 60 kilowatt hour battery, but when I googled it, it said 50 kilowatt hours, and then 50 kilowatt hours would make sense with us using 43 kilowatt hours coming here and having just over 10% left. That would make total sense. So it seems we have 50 kilowatt hours usable in this battery, which is 25 kilowatt hours less than our Tesla Model 3 long range. So that is, we got, interestingly, quite a bit more battery in our Model 3 long range, I guess. I mean, that is 25, that's like 50% more. But we're not going 50% further. If it's, this is 250 and we're getting 310, that's only 60 miles more for 50% more battery. That's interesting. Well, there are all these weird things and quite a few unknowns, so, but who cares? So let's see here. This is dropping now. We're down to 3, so whatever was going on is lowering there. We'll switch this back to percent so we're not misled. There, now it's 12:43, which is about 10 minutes more, almost 10 minutes more, I believe, than what it estimated. And it's 61 degrees out right now. So, well, let's get going. There's nothing else we need to do in Butte, so let's get back home. Look at this dotted line. It goes pretty much all the way, and yes, there is no regen that we're at 100%. It shows a little itty bitty green when it goes to regen, but I can't feel any. And that's how it is when you're at 100%. You could change the settings so it would apply brakes and make it feel as if there is regen. On the way back, so I want to kind of point out here so that nobody misunderstands. Usually, if this would be a road trip and I want to get home with this vehicle, I would not have charged to 100% here in Butte. That doesn't make any sense, because in about 30 minutes I came up to it was about 76%, so about 80% were put in 30 minutes. Then it took a good other 30 minutes to get to 100%. And that doesn't make sense. At the end we were down to like 9 kilowatt charging, and 9 kilowatts nothing. That's yeah, I mean, that's what you can almost get at home with this. Actually, this one does only 32 amps at home, so it only gets 7.6 kilowatts. But yeah, I would not have sat there for that long. I would have taken off as soon as it would have had enough to make it to Missoula. So probably at somewhere 85, max 90%, I probably would have had enough to make it safely to Missoula, maybe even sooner, because going west here from Butte, it's usually better efficiency. So, but never really know, so could have done it a little safe. So, but probably definitely no more than 90% were really needed to make it to Missoula. So I would not have waited to 100%, never ever. That is way too long. It would be nice to have another charger somewhere halfway here. That would cut down drastically on the charging time, and that would cut down on travel time as well. So with this here, there is a little bit longer charging just due to the lower range than with the long range model. With the long range model, we definitely would have left at 80% with the weather we got and the temperatures we have. So, but for today, I wanted to charge it to 100% again. I wanted to see if it actually makes it to 100%, since it didn't this morning. It made it only to 99%, so that kind of tells me there's a little bit of a battery imbalance going on, but it seems like it corrected itself by charging to full this morning and then driving it down pretty far, and again charging to full now here this afternoon. So, and as you already seen, when I switch from percent to miles, it shows a couple more miles than it did this morning. Well, because we got a little bit more into the battery is a little bit more balanced, and that's basically how you balance the battery. Some people are really afraid when the miles drop so drastically, and they shouldn't look at miles anyway, look at percentages. But when the miles drop that drastically, they think everything's bad and you can't make it and the battery is bad. That's not the case. You can easily balance it just with a couple charges like that. Also, there's really nothing to worry about when the miles drop if you don't look at percent. If your miles drop, well, see how far you can actually drive, because in reality you probably can still make the same drive at a full charge no matter what the mileage shows. There's definitely a slight difference from new to about a year later. Most batteries have easily 10% degradation in the first year, but then are pretty much stuck right there and have no further degradation over the next several years. So I prefer to look at percent, then I know what's going on. If it doesn't charge to 100%, if it gets stuck at 98, your balance or your battery is out of balance, your battery pack. And so best thing to do is drive it down as low as possible, fully charge it again, and then drive it again. And that helps to balance the battery. If you're staying mostly in the middle you know, around, if you're charging every time at 40-50%, then you're going to 70-80%, and then drive again, and you're staying in there, it will, the miles shown will drop, because it doesn't know exactly where the battery is at. And it may not even need balancing, it may not even be out of balance, it just doesn't know where the bottom is and where the top is in the battery pack. And so once you show it to the car by basically fully charging, driving as low as possible, fully charging again, the BMS will recalibrate, it will take care of the battery cells and equalize them as needed, and then it will be more accurate. But again, the miles shown in place of percentage are nothing but a fuel gauge. That is not the range you have available at all. In reality, most people go way less than that because of the fast speeds they drive, especially on road trips. There are some people that drive mostly city and slow speeds between 45 and 55. They get actually more range than what it shows there, just because of the slow speeds that they are driving. Well, let's see if we can make it home. We're down to 95% now. FSD is engaged, and well, should be an easy drive for me. 12%, that's not too bad. It is 3:07 and it's 72 degrees now here, so it's a beautiful warm day now. So 12%, a little bit lower than what it estimated. We were about, what, 15 or 14% it estimated, so we came down a little bit more than that. But I also, well, I had to stop again. Yeah, these bathroom breaks. So that maybe took a little bit extra there, but we made it with 12. So if we would have driven from here to Butte this morning, we would have gotten there maybe with 2% or so, or yeah, somewhere, maybe 0. So on the way back, we can do better. It is a little bit downhill, so it saves, yeah, anywhere from 5 to 10%. It depends a little bit on the vehicle. And again, I was going, well, 79 miles an hour according to the speedometer, because that's how fast I can set it in FSD. So that's it. Well, standard range can make it from here to Butte. In the wintertime, that may be a little bit different, because then you need heat, and road conditions may not be as good. There are other factors that play into it, and it may get pretty close. Pretty close. So from here to Butte may not be possible in the wintertime without a stop in Missoula. And even then, depending on how cold it is, you may have to go slower. Yeah, there may be like going 60, 65 instead of 80. So for the standard range, I think this is a great vehicle in especially warmer climates. If you're living in a warm, mild climate, this will do great. If you have cold like we do here in Montana, and the distances that we have between chargers at this point, it's yeah, it's questionable. I was wondering if we could get by with a lower range, but I don't think we really can go much lower than, so this is 250. This is the very minimum, and in the wintertime it's questionable. With the Bolt at 259 or the Model S at 260, we can also, in the wintertime, we can barely make it from here to Butte. We usually have to top off, yeah, add on a little bit in Missoula. So that is, it's workable, but it's close. So we need another charger between here and Butte. It's as simple as that. Then it's not a problem whatsoever. Actually, then that would be great because, well, I have to go to the bathroom both ways. So if we would have had a charger, that would be perfect. Go there, plug in, go to the bathroom, charge for about 10 minutes. That takes all the worries out of it completely. So yeah, but so right now standard range plus a little tough for us going east from Missoula in the winter time. Summertime, obviously now we're spring, it was a little colder in the morning, battery was warm, so we used a little bit more. Now the question is, what did we use on the way home, or the total and all this stuff? So let's look at the stats here. So well, the current drive since my, I think that was since my bathroom break, 237 watt-hours per mile. Woohoo! Now, since last charge, that is in Butte, 150 miles. So I actually got a mile less than going there. 259 watt-hours per mile. So we did pretty good. And then the entire trip is 302 miles. We used 82 kilowatt hours. So we used a little bit less on the way home. Then there we had 42, I believe, going there, so we only used 40 coming back, and we averaged 271. So again, it is doable in the winter time. It will be doable in the winter time too. It's doable, but it's cutting it close, and you may have to go slower. So not really what people want to do. So yeah, the standard range may not be the vehicle for a colder climate if you have to travel long distances like we do here. Now that said, going the other direction, heading west, is not a big deal. We got actually about 40 miles out, there's a charger, and then about another 15 miles further, there's a charger, and then we go over the pass, and then there's Coeur d'Alene has a charger. So there's a bunch of chargers the other direction. So not a problem with this vehicle in the wintertime. Heading west from here, but heading east is a little bit tough. So yeah, need a few more chargers there. And then as we get further east through the Dakotas there, it can be a little tricky too in the winter time anyway. In the summertime, this is not really an issue at all. So this does good in the summertime for sure. Wintertime, yeah, for us, probably not. We want to have a little bit of a safety cushion in the winter time, so the long range with 310 miles hour 2018 does fine, but this one here with 250 miles, it's 60 miles less. It is a little short. Well, but we did it. That's all that matters, and we can see the efficiencies here, and so that is good. And you can now go watch the other videos. We have a ton of other road trip videos with the other cars, going to the Cozy Cabin, going to Allen Park, going to West Yellowstone. Those are the videos that start out here and they go to Butte, and you can watch the whole thing for the rest of the trip. And so, but you can compare the Butte from here to Butte and the Butte back on those trips, so you can see where we were at, like with the Chevy Bolt or our long range Model 3 or the Model S. So you can see all these things there. So there's a whole bunch of videos, there's a whole bunch of stuff about wintertime driving, and so you can if you're afraid of wintertime driving, if you need to learn a little bit more, want to learn a little bit more about wintertime driving, go watch those videos. And then, well, give us a thumbs up for this video and any of the other videos you watch, please. And also subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. We got a lot more stuff coming. We're always trying to get some other cars in, like this one here now. Now we just recently got the Cybertruck and our Rivian R1S, so there's more videos coming on these. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the new videos that are coming out, and please give us a thumbs up for every video. In any event, thank you for watching. Goodbye.